is Sunday, September 16, 1973, in the Republic of Vietnam. It's early morning now as we look down on the Saigon River, which winds its way some 45 nautical miles through rice paddies and farmland and passes right in front of the headquarters of the Vietnamese Navy in downtown Saigon. The Chief of Naval Operations, Rear Admiral Tran Van Chon, speaks to you from his office in Navy headquarters.
Today is a Navy Day in the Republic of Vietnam. During this day, we honor Marshal Dow, the patron saint of the Vietnamese Navy, who scored glorious victories against the enemies of Vietnam on land and sea 7 centuries ago. His victories include the capture of the entire Mongolian fleet in one of the most important naval battles of the 13th century. We are favored to have as our guest of honor President Nguyen Van Thieu of the Republic of Vietnam. President Thieu, the Prime Minister, and all the distinguished guests will see a demonstration of the operational readiness of the Vietnamese Navy. Representative Navy units from all over the Republic will conduct precision maneuvers on the Saigon River. It is our sincere desire that our friends in America also see this display of seamanship.
Lining both sides of the Saigon River today are Vietnamese Navy ships, dressed for the occasion in colorful signal flags. The Vietnamese Navy is made up of 3 major components: the headquarters, which Admiral Chon just spoke from, the shore establishment, which includes 40 installations throughout the Republic, and the operating forces, composed of ocean-going blue water ships that patrol the coastline to prevent infiltration from the sea, and the smaller river craft of the brown water Navy that patrol several thousand miles of inland waterways. In a small square near Navy headquarters is a statue of Tran Hung Dao. To the people of Vietnam, he is a religious as well as military hero, having been elevated to sainthood. The return of his living spirit to this spot for this occasion was sanctified in a traditional ceremony yesterday. The flags flying today, in addition to the yellow and red striped flag of the Republic, include those of allied nations who helped the Republic of Vietnam in her fight for freedom. The reviewing stand for today's activity was specially constructed facing the river at the foot of Tudo Street in downtown Saigon. Most of the local dignitaries and high-ranking military men are present. The Vietnamese dignitaries arrived at the ceremony in reverse order of their importance. This is the Prime Minister, Tran Tien Kim. The arrival of President Nguyen Van Thieu will signal the beginning of the official ceremony. Here's President Thieu. He's welcomed with a 21-gun salute and the national anthem. President Thieu, escorted by Admiral Chon, embarks in a launch to review the Vietnamese Navy blue water ships. 27 ships moored on both sides of the Saigon River stand ready for inspection. In a launch following the President's group are the Prime Minister of the Republic and the Chairman of the Joint General Staff of the Armed Forces of Vietnam. Vietnamese Navy men in dress whites stand on the decks of their ships and salute their president as he passes by. The Vietnamese Navy did not request nor receive assistance from U.S. consultants in preparing for today's activities. Whatever happens today, they did it their way. Many of these Vietnamese Navy men who stand at attention for their president on this peaceful Sunday not long ago stood beside a U.S. naval advisor in combat. Today they stand proudly, self-confident in their ability to do their duty for their country. After making a complete tour, passing close by all of the blue water ships, the presidential party returns to the reviewing stand. Several Vietnamese Navy men receive medals today and have the additional honor of having them presented by the President of the Republic. These men were decorated for acts of heroism in defense of the Republic since the ceasefire agreement was signed. President Tu made a few brief remarks to those assembled, lauding the accomplishments of the Vietnamese Navy and emphasizing the importance of the Navy to national security. In this part of the world, an official ceremony is not complete unless the guest of honor receives a gift. The parade of the operating forces of the Vietnamese Navy begins with a group of PBRs. These are river patrol boats of the General Reserve Force. Units of the General Reserve Force proceed up the Saigon River, past the reviewing stand in close formation. Included are the River Assault Group, River Interdiction Division, Zippo and Douche Division, Mine-Sweeping Interdiction Division, a Salvage Division, an Underwater Demolition and Frogman Group. They patrol inland waterways of the rich Delta farmland to the south of Saigon and conduct riverine operations in conjunction with medical and civic actions assistance to people in remote areas of the Delta. Leading the River Assault Group, or RAG as it's called, is a large command craft. Then come the River Patrol craft. The River Patrol craft are smaller than the River Patrol boats that headed the parade. The rest of the River Assault Group includes armored troop carriers and landing craft. The RAG monitors all river traffic and carries troops. armored troop carriers have an operating range of about 120 nautical miles. Although they can carry troops when called upon, their primary mission is to interdict enemy junks and other watercraft on inland waterways. These small landing craft are equipped to sweep mines from small waterways. The LCMs, mechanized landing craft, can transport 80 soldiers fully equipped for combat, have a speed of 9 knots and an operating range of about 130 nautical miles. The last unit of the River Assault Group are the river patrol boats. They patrol all riverine areas in search of enemy watercraft. This is the command craft of the River Interdiction Division, or RID as it's called. The ASPBs, Assault Support Patrol Boats, assigned to the RID, cruise at 15 knots and have a 200-mile range. Some of the ASPBs are configured for night operations with electronic detection devices. Other craft included in the River Interdiction Division are monitors and armored troop carriers. The mission of this division is to stop enemy infiltration and supply activities on essential waterways and support Vietnamese Army pacification operations. Here are the monitors with their heavy firepower, followed by the armored troop carriers. The Zippo and Douche Division uses flamethrowers and high-intensity water jets to explode mines and clear camouflaged enemy trenches along riverbanks. The Zippo is the flamethrower and the Douche is the water thrower. They're also used to clear proposed landing sites along riverbanks before friendly troops land. The specially configured douche and dredge is used to clear a large area near the riverbank of trees and foliage. It can erode away bunkers and trip booby traps and landmines. The twin nozzles eject 2,000 gallons of water per minute with a force of 250 pounds per square inch. The douche and dredge is a modified armored troop carrier. Another modified armored troop carrier has a helipad. The helicopter is used for supply missions and emergency medical evacuation. Leading the Mine-Sweeping Interdiction Division, or MID as it's called, are the motor launch minesweepers. To carry out her mine-sweeping mission, the MID includes troop-carrying landing craft and mechanized landing craft that have been converted to minesweepers. Medium harbor tugs lead the River Salvage Division. These tugs provide inland waterway and harbor towing services. The division includes the light lift salvage craft being towed with their small craft on lift. They have a 25-ton lift capability, conduct salvage operations, firefighting, and limited boat and craft repair services. In addition to conducting salvage operations, this division supports Navy SEAL teams. The smaller combat salvage boat has a 12-ton lift capability and is used for salvage assistance, supports diving operations, and also has a firefighting capability. Her fire pumps can eject 4 tons of water per minute. The Heavy SEAL support craft can transport the Navy Sea Air Land teams called SEALs, running almost silently because of muffled underwater exhaust. They also provide a landing platform for medevac helicopters, have ample firepower for self-protection, and serve as an independent mobile operating base. Here come the river patrol boats of a river patrol division. 14 river patrol divisions make up the Vietnamese Navy River Patrol Force. They patrol all rivers and streams throughout the country. Between July 1972 and January 1973, the River Patrol Force conducted nearly 200 separate operations and participated in about 400 combined operations against the enemy. This River Patrol boat is a military adaptation of a 31-foot fiberglass civilian pleasure boat. It's modified with a lower silhouette, and the cockpit has been altered to allow increased visibility for crew members. This is a special demonstration team of more modern river patrol boats of the River Surveillance Force. They're called Ca Bai, or Flying Fish, and are a Vietnamese Navy riverine version of the U.S. Navy's famous Flying Angels. These craft have neither propeller nor rudder and are controlled by 2 jet engines. They operate effectively in shallow water and have remarkable maneuverability. The Flying Fish put on a demonstration of close precision maneuvers directly in front of the reviewing stand and received appreciative applause from President Tu and the other distinguished guests. At the conclusion of this watercraft demonstration, the lead patrol boat of the Flying Fish team ejected yellow and red smoke, forming the national flag of the Republic of Vietnam. Another demonstration began with this low-flying helicopter carrying 6 frogmen. After the helo had proceeded a short distance upstream from the reviewing stand, all 6 frogmen jumped into the water. Meanwhile, a fast-moving river patrol boat was proceeding upstream toward the reviewing stand. While dummy explosions simulated battle conditions, the frogmen were pulled out of the water, signifying mission accomplishment. are the fast patrol craft, or swift boats, of the Vietnamese Navy. These high-speed, highly maneuverable craft are used for coastal surveillance, river patrol, and gunfire support. 50 feet long with a speed in excess of 25 knots, swift boats have a crew of 1 officer and 5 enlisted men. With their low draft, effective firepower, and modern communications equipment, these craft have made a significant contribution to the success of the coastal surveillance system in frustrating communist infiltration into the coastal zones. The 2-hour-long parade of Vietnamese Navy ships and craft was concluded appropriately with a close file of different classes of ocean-going blue water ships. The last ship to pass the reviewing stand was Hai Quan 1, a radar picket destroyer escort that serves as Admiral Chan's flagship. The performance of the Vietnamese Navy in planning, preparing for, and executing today's Navy Day celebration by any standards was truly outstanding. It was a flawless performance from start to finish. In addition to the parade of Vietnamese Navy ships and craft on the Saigon River, there were displays and exhibits open to the public. This is not unlike an open house that the United States Navy might conduct. Everything is freshly painted in bright colors. The displays and exhibits are interesting and functional, and it's a day for the children. Vietnamese children, like the children the world over, find military displays fascinating. In summing up today's activities, which demonstrated a high level of self-sufficiency on the part of the Vietnamese Navy men and equipment, we must assume that most of the U.S. naval advisors who helped the Vietnamese Navy during the past decade would be proud if they were here to see this demonstration today. And if the spirit of Tran Hung Dao, the 13th century hero of Vietnam, is truly observing these events as the people believe, he too must be proud of his Navy.